Wagwan, everybody. I am your Jamaican Queen, Miss Y. You are tuned into How I See It TV, and this is Accurate Context. Why is Destiny out here in the schoolyard, on the playground, saying to Melody, "You're rubber, I'm glue, anything you say bounce off me and sticks to you"? Because that's what it's given. Because Destiny, in her Dustin interview on the Carlos King YouTube channel, said that, it's ironic that her and Martell are going through the same things with their ex, talking about how she was arrested and how Martell was also arrested, right? And she says it's ironic because both exes, meaning Melody and LeBeric, are close friends. It's getting a little bit extra now how close they are. And one could say, Destiny, that even though you claim that you and Martell were childhood friends, when he and Melody were getting married, you weren't around. You weren't around playing, "Oh, I'm his sis, he's my brother." Melody didn't really know of your existence until you started dating LeBeric, who is Martell's childhood friend from they were 6 years old. And okay, you started dating LeBeric, who's already a family friend. Of course, you're going to be integrated into Melody's family and in her family life. I haven't forgotten, Destiny, that when you were on the Ooh Ladies First panel and they asked you about your friendship with Martell, what you explained was that you went to another school and Martell went to another school, and that y'all were basically in the same friend group. It was a large friend group. He was a football player, you were a cheerleader, and y'all knew of each other. And then you said how his mom dated one of your uncles or one of your cousins way back when. But all of that does not mean that y'all were just best friends, always hanging out, always talking. You said at like 15 or something, you left Huntsville and moved to a whole other state. So during that time, did you remain in contact with Martell? I'm just asking these questions, Destiny, based on your own interviews and your own words, because the narrative that you're trying to push is that you and Martell were just these childhood friends and that y'all were just so chummy that it shouldn't look away to us, the viewers, that y'all are just so extra with your chumminess now. And we're just using your word because you said LeBeric and Melody are just a little bit extra in their friendship these days. And I want to know, how do you know that they're hanging out? Because based on your Dustin interview, it doesn't seem like Melody was hanging out with LeBeric. It seems like LeBeric has a business establishment that Melody frequents, because that's somebody she knows. That's someone that's been a part of her family and her kids' life before she probably even knew of your existence, Destiny. So, Destiny, in her Dustin interview, says there's so many things that happen behind the scenes between me and Melody that a lot of people don't know about. It's okay for us to agree to disagree, but don't throw, dirt on my name. But I recall, Destiny, you were the one who went out there doing interviews, throwing dirt on Melody's name. You went to that reunion and said, when Carlos asked you, where does your friendship with Melody stand, instead of saying, we haven't talked as much, but we're good, you said, I don't know where our friendship stands because we haven't talked. And Melody showed us proof that even though y'all weren't talking as much, and she's maintained that y'all weren't talking as much, she was still reaching out to you, right? But you came to that reunion, you sat on that reunion stage, and you blindsided her after she had a horrible reunion, listening to Carlos asking her about, Martel and his mistress, and whether or not Melody was doing enough as a wife, hearing people attack her mother and talking about a sex tape of her mom. Martel trying to make it seem like Ariane is anywhere near Mel's level. Remember, Carlos on that same reunion stage asked Martel if he had met Ariane before Melody, if he would have still married Melody, and he didn't answer. So that was what Melody endured. And then you came out there, Destiny, and decided that you were going to pile on. Mark you might not have known what had transpired on the reunion stage prior to you getting there. But the fact that you answered the question in that way, it made you seem like you weren't a good friend to Melody. Okay, you haven't heard from her as much in 6 weeks, and that was enough for you to believe that there was this big issue in y'all's friendship. And Melody apologized. She's like, yeah, I could have reached out some more. And then when the other season started, that season when Melody gave us the infamous line, I got, coins to make, not friends to fake. When you posted all these receipts and screenshots of text conversations between you and Melody, that wasn't Melody throwing dirt on your name. That was you trying to paint this picture that Melody is being manipulative. How was she being manipulative? She said you came to the reunion making it seem like she just didn't reach out to you at all after filming had ended. And all your receipts proved, Destiny, is that, yeah, you reached out to her. She didn't respond at the time that you reached out. All your receipts showed is that, okay, after the reunion and she came to y'all's door and she said, y'all might want to pipe down on how loud y'all talking because the walls are thin. She still gave you her new number. Y'all still had a sit down. How was she being manipulative? You tried to manipulate the narrative, Destiny, when you went out there saying, well, I don't think Melody was really a good friend. Yes, she gave me money. Yes, I tried to buy items from her 7th Avenue company when it launched, and she sent me the money back. And you use all of that to paint this picture that Melody was a bad person. And then when one of her friends chose on their own volition that they didn't want to do business with you because they didn't want to be involved in the messiness of doing business with you, when Melody was the one who created that connect, you made it that Melody told the lady not to do business with you. What else has Melody done? You keep saying there were behind the scenes things. What else? The fact that she felt like there were some inappropriate moments between you and Martel, you calling him at hours of the night. What else? What else is there, Destiny, for you to be holding on to for dear life, to still have this problem in your mind to the point where now you're trying to make it seem like Melody and Leberick, they're in cahoots to get you and Martel arrested, and they are having some inappropriate relationship? Try again, Destiny, because the receipts are out there. You are the only one that was out here throwing dirt on Melody's name. You came out, you talked about her bankruptcy as if she didn't tell us about it already. You wanted to let us know that when she wanted to rent a car during her bankruptcy, she used your credit card, and y'all were friends. Melody has been very transparent. Laberic made it so that you couldn't capitalize off your divorce because you couldn't speak his name on the show. And then you came out here hating because Melody turned her test and her trials and tribulations into her testimony, and she said, y'all gonna pay me for my pain. And you were out here hating on her for that. Please let us know exactly what Melody did to you, because we can list the things that you've done to her. She had a conversation where she said, off camera, where she told you, Tisha and I were not cool. She's a frenemy. And she stated that based on Tisha's behavior at that reunion when you came out there talking about, I don't know where Melody and I stand because we haven't talked. And based on Tisha's behavior after you said that, you didn't say, Tisha, I don't need you to interject. Melody and I, we're good. We haven't talked as much, but you're not going to use our situation to rehash the mess between y'all from years ago. You didn't do that. You sat there on the reunion stage, Destiny, and you made your faces, and you allowed Tisha to be like, I wasn't making any faces, but if you're ready, let's go. And for what? Melody and Tisha that season were cool the entire time, but Tisha jumped on the moment that you said you and Mel weren't cool. And then when y'all were sitting in the hotel room trying to recap the things that were said on the reunion stage, because you weren't out there for some of the things, you didn't say to Tisha, I didn't appreciate you trying to get a moment because I said that Melody and I hadn't talked. Melody is my friend. We don't even need to recap anything that was said on the reunion stage. I'll go ask my friend. If you want to talk about things that were said about you and Marsau, we can do that. But in my presence, we're not going to talk about anything concerning Melody. You didn't do that. Y'all were in there recapping some hurtful things that was said to and about Melody by Martell. And hurtful things that was said about her mom by Martell and Tisha's husband. And so when she said, I can't be cool with anybody who's cool with my enemies at this point, she was still reeling from the things that happened to her on that reunion stage, and you didn't give her any grace. And she said that to you off camera, Destiny. And then what did you do? You took that off camera conversation and you went back and you told it to Tisha, proving Melody's point that she can't trust you to not speak about her to people that she's not cool with. And you still not understanding where you went wrong in the friendship, Destiny. You still want to make it Melody did something to you. The things that you feel Melody did to you, all of that is a matter of perception. You want Melody to be the bad guy so badly that you can't step back to say, you know what? A lot of the things that I'm feeling, they are narratives that I created in my mind about Melody, and narratives that other people who weren't cool with Melody helped me to create because they were happy that Melody and I had a falling out. Destiny, you're looking really, really silly out here, trying to act like Melody and Laberic got something going on. Why? Because Melody's saying she doesn't know what you and Martell have going on? Girl, you're the one in scenes with Martell half naked, rubbing oil on his body, and we're about to see you in a scene at his house alone, and he's in his robe telling you that your son looks like him. Further playing into that narrative, Melody's not out here with LeBeric and he's half naked. She's in a whole restaurant buying food. So stop it, Destiny. We see what y'all are trying to do and it's not working because we're seeing through the BS.
And because you wanted to be manipulative in how you presented this information about Melody and LeBeric and their friendship, because you wanted to spread propaganda, this is why you got caught up in that interview. Because Dustin, he clocked you. He heard what you said and he thought about it and he processed. And then he came back to it and asked the follow-up questions. Because see, if Dustin didn't ask the follow-up question that I believe, Destiny, you didn't feel he was going to ask, if he didn't ask that follow-up question, it would have been left in the air for people to speculate about what is going on between LeBeric and Melody. Destiny, you understood fully well that you were trying to distort the truth a little bit. Because the first thing you said in that interview is that you and Martell are experiencing the same things from, quote unquote, our exes who are now close friends. And then you went on to say, and so for me, it just seems like, yeah, were y'all sitting back planning this out? Like, did y'all teach each other how to get these warrants and get us, like, that's how I was. Destiny, those are your words. And then you went on to say, Destiny, you were feeling like, wow, how long has Melody been close friends? This is a new friendship, right? You were trying to set up a narrative right there when you said that. And as I said earlier on in this video, that was a crazy statement to make when LeBeric and Melody were part of each other's lives before you came in the picture, Destiny. Because maybe if you were interviewing with Messi Carlos King, he would have allowed that narrative to linger in favor of being Messi. He would have been like, Destiny, wait. And he would have pushed his chair back and he would have given us all the dramatics, and then he would push himself back in the camera frame and he would say, Destiny, you're telling me that when you called your son on the FaceTime while he was supposed to be with his dad, you saw Melody in the background? And Destiny, you'd have been like, and you'd have allowed that to sit. But see, Dustin wasn't having it. I'm sure Dustin felt in his spirit that something wasn't right in what you said. And that is why Dustin made this statement. He said, okay, wow, Destiny. Well, see, this is the information that helps the viewers come to a conclusion or help viewers understand how you've come to a certain conclusion when it comes to the decision that you make about who you're in relationship with. So, wow. So you saw Melody in the home of your ex. Boom. That's when Dustin clocked you. That's when he gave you the opportunity to either clear up what sounded like you were telling a lie That's when he gave you the opportunity to clear up what sounded like you were trying to distort information. It was either you were going to allow that question to stand and be tight-lipped and not say anything to clear it up, or you would have to say, this can play out only one other way. And it's if I let this narrative, this false narrative stand, Melody is going to clap back with receipts, or my ex-husband is going to clap back with receipts, and perhaps use this interview in our court case to prove to the judge how I'm out here lying on him. So you had to quickly say, no, she wasn't in my ex-husband's home. She was in the restaurant, but it was still shady because she saw me on the FaceTime with my son and her kids were saying hi to me and she was just looking around, not saying anything. There you go. So that's the problem. You don't F with Melody, but you fully expect her to do in that moment what you didn't do. See, you were on the FaceTime call and you saw her and you didn't say, hey, is that Melody? Hi, Melody, how have you been? But you wanted her to push her face in the camera while your son is talking to you and be all presumptuous and say hello to you. And it bothers you that Melody is on her Cardi B. If I see you and I don't speak, that means I don't F with you. But you don't F with her either. So why was it such a problem for her to be in your ex-husband's restaurant buying some food, probably hearing you on the phone with your son and choosing not to say hello because she didn't want to and she had no obligations to? And you can tell that Melody isn't bad-mouthing you around her kids because kids are very intuitive. If they know that their parents doesn't like somebody, it's highly likely that while you're on the phone, Destiny, those kids would not have been excited to say hello to you because their mom is there and they wouldn't want their mom to be upset. But Melody isn't bad-mouthing you around her kids. She has no problems with her kids saying hello to you because as a grown woman, you don't involve children in the mess of adults. So of course her children can say, hello, Miss Destiny, but she does not have to. As I said before, she doesn't owe you that obligation. And you utilize that one instant where you called your son and Melody was in that restaurant to now create this narrative that Melody and Liberic are just hanging out more than usual. But Dustin clocked that you were telling tales. See, it's okay for you to hang out at Martel's house alone with him. It's okay for you to show up at his photo shoot. Why did I get tongue-tied? It's okay for you to go to his photo shoot while he's oiled up. It is okay for you to be in Atlanta with him. It's okay for you to be at birthday parties with him. It's okay for you to hang out with Martel now more than you've ever done while he was still married to Melody. All that's okay. But Melody is a villain for being up in LeBeric's restaurant when you called your son on the FaceTime, and she's a villain for not saying hi because she knew you were on the phone because her kids were saying hi to you and she didn't feel like saying hi. Make it make sense. It sounds like you are projecting, Destiny. It sounds like you probably feel like there's something inappropriate about how much you are hanging around Martell. And that's why you're trying to project onto Melody that she's doing the same thing. But the thing is, Melody isn't. Melody isn't, in my opinion, isn't hanging around LeBeric in the way that you're hanging around Martell. Patronizing a friend's restaurant is not the same as being up in his house while he's in his robe telling you that your child looks like him. It's not the same, Destiny. And when Melody's out here going through stuff, we don't see her jumping on the internet talking about her friend LeBeric is calling her crying. And so she has to come to the internet and clear stuff up. But what we do here is your good brother, Martell, jumping on an Instagram live, which he barely does, talking about he had to come clear stuff up because he wasn't looking at his phone, but his sis, Destiny, called him crying, wondering if he's in a mental institution. I'm like, why is Destiny calling this man crying? Okay, I guess they're that close. But as I said, Destiny, it sounds like you are projecting. And then the other lie that you got caught in during that interview is that you proved that y'all are out here faking it in scenes. As it was reported, Tisha posted that the scene she did in her house with Destiny, that was filmed on Valentine's Day. And then Destiny goes to this interview with Dustin and she says that she wasn't filming for the first half of the show. That's what you said in the interview, Destiny. So that aligns with Tisha's post. Perhaps the first time you filmed was on Valentine's Day when you went to Tisha's house trying to make it seem like, oh, the podcast event is coming up and y'all not gonna go because the millimeters are there. And the millimeters are just bitter old black women. And it wasn't a bitter black woman that showed up to your house, Destiny. To your house showing. Right? It wasn't a bitter black woman that did that, but I digress. Destiny, if you and Tisha were actually honest, if y'all really wanted to keep it real, if y'all really wanted the cameras to follow your reality, as Carlos King keeps saying, they're following the reality, then if the producers told y'all that y'all needed to go into this scene in February and fake like you're talking about the podcast event with Melody before it happened, then y'all should have said no. If we're going to talk about it, we're going to keep it real. We're going to let the audience know that no, we did not attend the podcast event that Carlos King was hosting. And then Destiny, you could have said that you got wind of the fact that Sonny and Moses were going to be there. Or you could have just said, yeah, I didn't want to attend and I didn't get a personal invitation and I didn't want to go anyways because I figured more or less that it was going to be majority millimeters in the audience, and I feel some type of way about that fan base because they do lots of videos talking about the reality of my life, the relaunch of Madani, things that occurred in terms of your finances, things that occurred between you and LeBeric in those court documents.
And that's fine. And that's fine. Because if that's your reality, that's your reality. But instead, y'all chose to sit in that scene and pretend. And to pretend in that way is basically lying. So you got caught up in a lie, Destiny, and then went in this interview and forgot that you shouldn't be really exposing the filming timeline. Because when you do that, you kind of mess with the integrity of the show. Because fans of the show, like myself, who are not just watching the show, but we're listening to interviews, we are following the social media footprints. We are going to clock the lies. And we're going to say, oh, so y'all are really just out here faking storylines. How sad. Stormy showed up at the event, and Stormy isn't liked by majority of the millimeters, and no one hassled Stormy, no one bothered her. A lot of content creators said they saw her and they gave her compliments on how good she looked at the event. So people talking on social media and YouTubers giving commentary is not the same as in real life wanting to attack somebody when you see them in person. No YouTuber is about to risk a lawsuit or a charge for harassment or assault. So talking on social media and, as I said, on YouTube, that's one thing. But going around making it seem like the millimeters would have been coming at y'all at the event, that's just ridiculous. And y'all know this. Y'all know this. And what it's starting to look like is that y'all were probably told not to attend the event so that this storyline could come about. Y'all were told that Moses and Sunny were going to be at the event, and Stormy should be the one to attend the event so that she could be the bone carrier, because Melody is not friends with Destiny. So if Melody was the only one from the cast at that event, then Melody would have no reason to go back carrying the bone about what Sunny and Moses had to say about Destiny on that stage. So there needed to be one person from the cast at the event that is close enough with Destiny to, for the camera's sake, take the mess to Destiny that was said by Sunny and Moses on that stage to create this whole storyline. And the storyline is, one, this half of the cast didn't attend because they have this major issue with the millimeters, who were obviously going to be in attendance because Melody was the main, or at that time, the only guest slated to be at the event. And then the other side of it is, this was always the plan to introduce Sunny and Moses to the audience and to prepare Destiny's storyline. And that's how I see it, y'all. Destiny is in interviews willing to lie and manipulate the audience's view of Melody by insinuating that there is some inappropriate relationship now happening between Melody and Destiny's ex-husband, LeBeric.
And Dustin Ross is such a great interviewer where he knowingly or probably unknowingly as well backed Destiny into a corner where she had to clear up that narrative that she was trying to spin. Also, Destiny and Tisha are in scenes faking it. What's new? Thank y'all for watching. Please remember to like this video, share the link to my channel if you feel like my content needs some more crowd, subscribe if you have not done so yet, and follow me at How I See It on Instagram, Twitter, now called X, and on TikTok. Remember, y'all, jump in the comment section below so I know how you see things too. And until next time, walk good. Bye.